Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Dom Dumas, and I'm in Bangkok. SHO with DJ Sherman from the Titanium Sport Corner, episode 41. Now first, before I get into this episode, I want to talk about the games that they had last night. Oh, they were so exciting. The first game was the Aware versus the Titanium Sports Corner. The score was 3-2, and the Titanium Sports Corner came from behind to win it in overtime with a shootout. I couldn't believe it. It was so amazing. The first game of the season, and it went down to a shootout. And with the Titanium Sports Corner coming back from behind to tie it at the end. Now, our goal scorers for the Titanium Sports Corner was John Schneksnovsky. I am so sorry, John. I don't know how to pronounce your name, and I keep saying it wrong. You're going to have to correct me on that. And we also had Ith scored the second goal for the Titanium Sports Corner, and the game-winning goals went to John and Garofolo. Now, for the Aware, their first goal was scored by Yin, and also the second goal was by Vic. Now, the assists went to Lamanta and Erikanen. And for the Aware, the assists went to Olafsson and Opiala. Am I saying those names right there, DJ?
Yeah, from what I understand, yeah. I know Olafsson is right.
Yeah, that's Christian, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Christian.
Christian,
He's the
okay.
one of the secretary of the league.
Oh, yeah, he is the secretary of the league. And again, it was such an exciting game for you guys to come back. What was that like being involved in that game?
Oh, it was amazing, just because of it's a brand new league with and the jerseys had arrived and they were all in separate bundles for each of the four teams, and these beautiful glowing jerseys, and everybody's there picking their number, and everything's fresh and new and exciting, and the jerseys are beautiful. And so we get out on the ice and we're warming up, and it's like, yeah, we're playing in a real game here. It's it's on, and we got behind, and I was thinking, there's no way that we can lose this game. Like, our players there's too many good players, and our goalie is, I don't know all of the goalies, but I think he's pretty well regarded as one of the best available around, and just the fact that we came back late and tied it, was it was really cool, because nobody wants to go down, be 0-1 at the, in the first game. You don't want to be getting in a hole. So we got a point in the shootout, and then when we won in the shootout, I was like, yes, it's on. We got a team, and I think we're just going to get better and better.
I think so. I mean, you guys all looked really good. As a matter of fact, the player of the game went to your goaltender.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
He saved our bacon. Like, a lot of times there's a lot of cliches that go with goaltending. Like, you want your goalie to give you a chance to win and make the saves that he has to make. And he made the saves that he had to make, and some that he shouldn't have made. He was really good.
Yeah, he looked like he was quite on last night.
Yeah, because they had us hemmed in the middle period, and just a lot of guys, tongues hanging on the ground, and Gabor was making save after save, and we'd finally get the clear, and just keep us close. And so, yeah, he not only gave us a chance to win, I think we won because of him, which sometimes happens. Your goaltender
absolutely
can carry you and steal a game for you, and that's exactly what he did. And I hope we don't put him in that position too much more during the season.
Yeah, that would be kind of hard.
We don't want to keep winning like that, but it's nice to know that your guy in the crease is, he's there for you.
Okay. And then the second game was the Sukhumvit Spitfires against the Hooters from Nana. Yeah. And again, this was another nail biter. The Hooters took an early lead, And then
big lead, right?
Yeah, early big lead.
4-1.
4-1 at the end of the
End of
in
the
the
second?
second period. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, not the end of the second because the Spitfires had scored a few more goals after that. But still, to come back, and then again, it went into overtime, into a shootout.
Right.
And the Sukhumvit Spitfires coming from behind to win in the shootout, just like the Titanium Sport Corner.
And the way that the Spitfires tied it up in the last minute of the game.
Oh,
I think
know.
Adrian just scored this sweet goal from coming in from the D and just snapped it and just pumped it in. And it was like, wow, you couldn't have scripted a better start for this league with the excitement of the games, and like every element of what you would want in a game was in both games. And it didn't necessarily have to be that way. It could have been like a 5-1 blowout, and it could have been really boring, but it absolutely wasn't. And that's what is really exciting about our league. It's just the first game, and this season's running through April, and I think it's a 16 or 20 game season.
16, I think.
And it's just I think everybody's going to get better and better playing as a team and individually, and the games are just going to get more exciting. But I don't think the parity is going to, evaporate, because it's there now, and so why wouldn't it?
Yeah,
stay
I
that
think
way?
it's going to get stronger, actually.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the goal scorers for the Hooters were Moo. He got 2 goals and 1 assist, and we had St. Denis, who got a goal, and Stoddart got a goal, and White with a goal, and Sproul with 2 assists. And then for the Sukhumvit Spitfires, we had McIntyre. I hope I'm not pronouncing his name wrong. McIntyre with 2 goals and 1 assist. And we had Peem with a goal. We had Bauer with a goal. Myers with a goal. Wilson and Bauer with assists. And then the shootout went to McIntyre. And the player of the game for that was Adrian. He did a great interview. He was so funny. But it was just amazing. Just these 2 games that were just phenomenal. Just the competitiveness was absolutely there, especially in the first game. I saw it. The second game, I really got worried for the Spitfires, but to see them come back with such a deficit was just amazing.
I actually, I was getting changed after our game, so I missed the first part of the Spitfires Hooters game, and so I didn't see the score getting rung up 4-1. But when I came out and I saw, oh man, 4-1, come on, Spitfires, because I don't know, I actually designed the logo. I do graphic design as my job, and I did the logo for the Spitfires. So it's in a way I kind of wanted them to at least tie or something, that's my logo. That you guys, you can't lose.
So we've talked about the SHL, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about them a little bit later. I'm going to bring up the interviews that I had with the captains of the teams and also with the players of the game. But right now, I want to talk about you, DJ.
Okay.
How long have you been involved in hockey?
Oh, a long time. Started playing hockey when I was 6 years old. And although you wouldn't know it, by the way, I played on the ice last night.
I don't know. You didn't look too bad.
Thanks. Yeah, it's...
I'll tell you what, it'd be better than me. I started about the same time. I started skating when I was 4, and then I was playing games when I was 5. But although I haven't played any games since I was 18. So.
Yeah. It's. I think I'm still having this adjustment to actually playing hockey in Thailand, and before I had resumed playing, which a couple months ago, I hadn't played for quite some time, and but I think things will come along, and I'll improve with the team, and so I've been playing hockey a long time. I have played ice hockey since I was 6, and then I got into roller hockey and played both ice and roller.
Okay.
And I'm kind of like a hockey lifer. I have dreams about hockey all the time.
Oh, I used to have those.
I still do, and they're strange dreams. I'm in these strange places playing on these strange teams, and then sometimes I'm playing on teams with like with stars, you know, I'm looking over at Wayne Gretzky and he's bending over tying his laces.
Wow, that'd be pretty cool.
And you know, all these. So yeah, I dream about hockey. I play hockey, and I always watch hockey highlights on NHL.com, and so yeah, hockey's like a big thing for me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I used to have dreams about playing hockey. Now, again, like I said, I haven't been playing since I was 18. My dreams now are focused on mostly about like playing guitar a little bit, mostly martial arts, you know, and different things like that. Also, I don't know, yeah, just things like that. So, but what brought you to Thailand?
Well, I actually came to Thailand in 2007.
Okay.
And I stayed here for a month. I was teaching English in Korea on a 1-year contract, and then at the end of the contract, I had all these bonuses and an extra month's pay, and all the money you put into the tax system all comes back to you.
Okay.
So I had this big pile of money. I'm like, I'm gonna go to Thailand and check it out because I hear it's just a way cool place to visit. So I planned my trip, and sure enough, the last 3 weeks of my time in Korea, I went to this restaurant bar that I frequented that was run by a couple of Canadian guys who streamed hockey games from Canada on this huge screen, like an entire wall. So you'd go there, and they had poutine, you know, which is like so Americans don't know too much about it.
I've heard a lot about it.
It's like gravy with fries, or I don't know exactly, but it's
with cheese
good.
curds.
Yeah.
What scares me is the cheese curds.
But they had poutine there, and it was like you really felt like you're back home, because I'm from Buffalo, New York, so I'm sort of a border boy, but I'm not Canadian, and so I was there watching a game with a friend, and the friend had a friend with him who was a native Thailand man, and we got struck up a conversation, and I told him I was finishing my contract and going to Thailand. He's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Well, I'm from Thailand," although he lived in America for 25 years, so he was completely 100% fluent in both languages, Thai and English. And he's like, I'm going back to Thailand myself next month, and you should come with me. I'll show you around, and I can translate it for you, and you want to. And I thought he's just kind of kidding, like he'll meet me somewhere and we'll have dinner or something, and but it turned out that we were on the same flight going back to Thailand, just by coincidence, and so we flew back together, and the next thing I know, he made this loose plan, and we flew right from Bangkok. We went up to Chiang Rai, and spent a few days there, and then we went to we came to Bangkok because he owned some buildings and property, so we went there, and then we went to Koh Samui, Koh Phanang. We went to Nakhon Si Thammarat, Surat Thani, Phuket. He took me all over the whole country, and he lives down south of Nakhon Si Thammarat. He owns some beach property and a restaurant, so he has a house down there, so we hung out down there. And he even owns some land in central Thailand with some teak trees and coconut trees, and he's into all the stuff because he was while he was living in America, he was, believe it or not, and you can look this up, he was the director of animation for The Simpsons.
Wow. For
15 years. And he started out as a jungle boy in Thailand. And this story is getting a little bit off track, but it's I'll try to keep it tight, but it's so amazing. The story he told me is when he was 8 years old, he basically he lived along a river in his hometown, but it was a port river, and he would see these boats go back and forth carrying brightly colored things like with clothes, and he's like got a fig leaf, literally, like he's a jungle boy. And one day he's like, I can't take it anymore. I got to go out and see what's on those boats. So he swims out, and the guys on the boats are like, no, you can't do that. What are you doing? Go back to the shore. And he wouldn't do it. And they had to drag him on the boat. And so they kept him on the boat till they got to port. And when he got to port, some guy from Minnesota, he was working for Peace Corps or something like that, or Greenpeace, and he's like, "Who's this kid?" And they're like, "We don't know. He just jumped on the boat. He wouldn't go away, so we had to take him with us." And so the Peace Corps guy, they met each other and ended up going back to where him and his parents lived in basically like a hut, and said, "Hey, can I take your son to America? Because I really like this kid and he's got a lot of energy, and I could put him in school in America, and he could come back and do well." And so their parents said, "Okay." So they took him to America, and he went to high school there, he went to college there, and he got a job as a sweeping floors at 21st Century Fox in LA. And from there he took an interest in the animation, and so they gave him an internship. Next thing you know, he's the director of animation for The Simpsons, and they actually do the animation in Seoul, Korea.
Oh, really?
And so they said, would you be willing to take hardship pay, an extra like $5,000 a month to go to Seoul?
Sure.
And he's like, let's see. He's coming from Thailand, and it's like, and so he was in Seoul for 15 years doing the animation, and that's where I met him, in Seoul. And he was actually just retiring. His last month was when I met him. And then so he's like, "I'm going back to Thailand. I'm chilling out. If you want to come with me, I'll show you around." And sure enough, so we struck up a friendship. And so back to your original question, when did you first come to Thailand? Yes, 2007 was when that all happened. Then I came back to the States and just continued my original work, which is graphic design. And so I decided that I had some money I had saved, and I wanted to invest it, and I decided that Thailand would be a good place to invest in some real estate. So I chose Pattaya, which is where I live, and so I've got the condos, and so that's where I'm at right now, and that's when I started itching.
So you live in Pattaya?
Yeah.
And you come to Thailand or come to Bangkok now to just play hockey?
I do. Yeah, I know.
What is that like?
Well, it's funny you say that, because the president of the league is on our team, John. He's like a super cool guy, and he asked me about that too. He was like, "That's amazing commitment," and he really made me feel like just acknowledging the fact that I come. What made me feel kind of like I belong and just feel supported, and it was very cool. He didn't have to do that.
Huge commitment.
He didn't have to do that, and so I was really, really happy about that. But yeah, it's like it ends up being like a 3-hour trek, and I have to put my gear on my back of my motorbike, and then I have to drive about 2 miles to the bus station, park my bike, and hope that the security guard doesn't see it, because if he sees me with my backpack, then he knows I'm not going into the store where I'm parking. And then he'll like tag my bike. But it's sort of around the corner, so he very rarely would see me. But so I park the bike, and then I wheel it up to the bus station, it's right there. Get on the bus at Jomtien, which is like a southern suburb of Pattaya, and I take the bus. It's a 2-hour ride, hour 45, 2 hours to the airport. Then I have to get off the bus and then go into the airport, get on the Airport Link train, which goes to like all points in Bangkok. And it's about another 25-minute ride. Then I have to get off the train, transfer to another train that goes north to the rink, which is only a couple stops. And then I'm there. But all of that, all the transferring and everything,
So you take a bus to the airport.
Yeah.
And then like Savannahboom.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you get the airport rail link to the BTS?
Yes.
And then you take the BTS to probably Asok?
BTS, no, because I can get Makasan Station, you get off, and then you take the walkway down to Pretobury,
Oh.
and then you can get on the BTS and go straight north to
You mean
Ramanina.
MRT. MRT.
MRT. See, I
Yeah.
still don't know.
Okay.
It's
Oh, I see. So
yeah.
you get off at Makasan and then get on the MRT to
Ramanina. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like planes, trains, and automobiles,
Yeah.
except for the planes.
Yeah, well, you're at the airport.
Well, okay, all right, then we can count it. Yeah.
So you do this every week.
I was doing it every week for the first 2 months, and now I've been playing now maybe 3 months, 3.5, and I have to admit there's a lot of guys that did it for like a year, and I only had to do it for about 2 months, and I have to do it again because I was fortunate enough to connect with these two guys in Jomtien that play there, and they have cars.
Okay.
And they're
You mean
Russian.
they play in the SHL?
They play in the SHL. Well, one of them does, one of them doesn't.
Okay.
But and they're Russian guys. They're really great guys, and they have cars. And I was able to connect with them. I came up for a drop-in pickup session, non-league session on Thursday night, and I was just taking the train and the bus, and then I met the Russian guy that lives in Jomtien because. Scott Murray, who's the vice president of the league, said you should talk to this guy because he lives in Jomtien. He's got a car and he comes all the time. Maybe you could connect with him. So I did talk to him. He's like, oh yeah, you can come with me, because he's thinking, hey, I get someone to ride with and he can help share the cost. And
that's awesome.
And it's awesome. And so now it's like I've never felt so privileged and fortunate to take a car ride to a hockey rink after what. Having to do the bus train thing. And so, yeah, he picks me up at my condo, throw the gear in the back, drives the car. I just sit there in the car, and it's like, so now it's easy. But now he's back in Russia, so so for the past few weeks, I have to go back to doing the bus.
Oh, okay.
But
but still, that's great.
But it's just it's really, it's part of, okay. I would rather play hockey somewhere where I don't have to go 3 hours, because even with the car, it takes a long time because you get into Bangkok in about 2 hours. But then the exit you get off. We always arrive during traffic time because the games are at night. We don't really have any choice unless we want to go at noon, and neither one of us can do that. So, so you get off the exit, and then it's another 30 minutes to go another 2 miles. And so it ends up being about 2.5. But yeah, it's, I've never traveled 3 hours to play hockey anywhere, like just by myself. Yeah, okay, I've been to tournaments where you go with a group of guys or on a bus, and it's even if 5 hours or 6 hours or whatever it is. But I've never, gone 3 hours just to play, and I just, that's part of. I don't know. I just love to play hockey, and this group of guys is really, really great group of guys, and so I like being involved, and so yeah.
Awesome. Well, how did you find out about the Thailand hockey in Thailand? I mean, I'd heard when I lived in Bangkok the first time. I heard that they had hockey. I didn't know where it was at. Nobody really talked about it. Right. And then I went to Chiang Mai, and I heard they had an ice rink in Chiang Mai. So I went to the ice rink, and the ice is gone. It's not even open anymore. Came back to Bangkok. It had just kind of gone away. I'd never even thought about it again. And then I just stumbled on it one day when I was looking for something for my wife and I to do when she came back from England one time. And we found out about the Bangkok Ice Hockey Leagues. We went to one of those games. How did you find out about it?
Well, I actually, just by pure curiosity and a little bit of hope that there might be hockey in Thailand, because I had heard about the Land of Smiles tournament, which is a big annual international event that is held and put on by many of the same guys that are running this league. That's why I think the league is so good. It's because these guys are so used to being organized and and running a tight ship. And so I'd heard about it, but I didn't really. I thought, oh, maybe they put up a rink, for the tournament. But so when I came from the States, I didn't even bring my gear. When I had done my teaching contract in Korea, which I had talked about back in 2007, I did bring my gear because I knew there was hockey there, I knew there was rinks there, and I knew I was going to be there for a year. So I brought my gear. But when I came to Thailand, I didn't really know how long I was going to be here. I thought, oh, maybe it's just a few months. I can invest in my condos. I'll go back to the States and then let them, develop. Because they hadn't been built yet when I bought them, and I just like, well, I'll just buy them and then I'll go back. But I ended up staying here, and I didn't have my gear, and so I found out about it just from a Google search on Facebook. I just put Bangkok hockey, and see what came up, and sure enough, the Rama Central 9 rink came up, and I thought, okay, next time I'm in Bangkok, I don't care if I have to get a pair of plastic rental skates. I'm gonna go skate there, and so I did, and sure enough, they had a pro shop, so I got a pair of skates, and when I was done skating, it was a public skating session. I went into the changing area, and this one lady just like appeared out of nowhere and said, "Oh, you skate pretty good. Do you play hockey in the league?" I'm like, "What league?" And she's like, "Oh, they have a league here, and they have pickup sessions." And I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I know the guy who runs it. His name's Scott Murray." And I was like, "Well, I'd love to talk to him sometime, see about what times there are." And at that point, I didn't even have any gear, and I'm thinking, where am I even going to get gear, even if they do have hockey? And so she not only tells me about Scott Murray, but calls him on the phone right then and there, and says, "Hey, I got a guy that's new to Thailand, and he wants to play hockey. Can you talk to him?" And so, like, within 2 minutes, I'm talking to Scott, and he's like, "Well, yeah, we got hockey here. We got pickup on Thursday nights, and we're starting up a league." And he's like, "Do you have your gear?" And I said, "No, I didn't bring it." He's like, "Well, don't worry. We can set you up." And I thought, oh, okay, maybe he's got an extra stick laying around or something. but no, he says, "Meet me at the rink on Saturday, and I'll have some gear for you." So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I take the bus back up to the rink, and sure enough, he's there, standing there with a bag and a stick, and like, I'm in full set of gear.
Wow.
Yeah, and with like tape and extra laces in the bag and everything, and all this, not ratty gear, and it was good gear. And he's like, "Okay, here it is." And I'm like, "Okay, so, how much do I owe you?" And he's like, "Oh, no, don't worry about it. You can use it while you're playing here in the league." And I didn't even sink in. At first, I had to like go home and actually like look at the gear again. I'm like, he actually is letting me use this gear for free. Like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. And so that's how I found out about it, and that's how I got involved. And because of the way that Scott, I was treated at the very beginning by Scott is why I have such a good feeling about the league and the people involved with it. And I like to get involved and help out. I actually made the Flying Farangs are sort of the host team for any event that comes in, and they have a long history, and I think we have even been the first team in Thailand. And so they have a long tradition of being the major part of the Thailand hockey community, and they have a very cool logo. And Scott knew I was a graphic designer and asked me if I could make some round helmet stickers for something that you can give to a new person who arrives like me, to sort of say, okay, you're part of us now, and there's a small fee to be a member of the league, not the league, but just to be like associated with the Flying Farangs and the Thailand hockey community. And so he thought it would be a cool idea to make helmet stickers so that, when you pay your small fee, you get something. You get and I was like, yeah, if I could help out, that'd be great. So I got the logo, and I had to sort of recreate it a little bit, and I got the stickers done, and I brought them up to him, and he was happy about it, and it was a big hit. Like he started handing them out to the guys, and they're like, "Oh, cool, man! Like, oh, black. There's black ones, white ones. Which one should I take? What's gonna look good on my helmet? My helmet's black. Okay, I want the white one." So, it was like a big hit, and so it was cool to be able to contribute and help out that way, and so yeah, it's really nice to be part of this league, just because of the people mostly, but of course you're there because everybody loves to play hockey. That's why you're there. But
so how long have you been involved in the hockey here in Thailand then?
Well, only about 3 months now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a relatively short time.
Okay. Were you part of the BIHL?
No,
just for the SHL.
Yeah, that was BIHL was before my time.
Okay. Well, the BIHL is the league that's mostly Thai guys with some Farang guys that play.
Yeah, that was the predecessor to.
No, you're thinking of the other Thai league, the other league that went defunct.
Oh yeah, it was the SIHL or something. I don't know, but yeah, they sort of decided to restructure. Like a year ago, they wanted to restructure and really make the league into a competitive league number one, and set the foundation for a professional team in Thailand. And so you can tell that's the part of the goals of the league just by the way they're so organized. And as you know, you did the podcast for the league draft.
Yes.
Which I attended last week, and I came all the way from Pattaya just to go to that. Like that, I think that
just blows my mind.
I might be a little bit wacky because, but I don't know. I just love to be around hockey and be around other people that like hockey, and because in Pattaya, believe me, there aren't many. That there's some, maybe a few Canadian guys that you can talk to about hockey a little bit, but that's about it. But
well, it's the same here in Bangkok. I mean, just because you're part of the hockey league, you see all the guys, or you're part of the Thailand hockey, you see all of the guys, and you have contact with all these guys that are into hockey and playing hockey.
Yeah.
Whereas, until just recently, I had no idea. So I would talk to people about hockey, and they're going, "What?"
Yeah, but
and even now, I talk to people that I work with. And it's like, "Yeah, I'm going down to the rink, and I'm going to watch a game tonight." And they're like, "What do you mean?" "I'm going to go watch a hockey game." There's hockey in Thailand.
Right.
Even I talked to one of my Thai friends, and he was like, "There's hockey in Thailand?"
Right. Well, never mind somebody asking there's hockey in Thailand is like. Most you would assume Thai people is like, what is hockey?
Yeah,
that's what I thought. But in fact, I live in a very big condo. It's there's 600 rooms. So there's never a time when you're coming or going where you don't see at least a few people. And every time I leave my room with my bag and sticks, and I come out, and I'm either getting on the getting on the motorbike to catch the bus, or I'm waiting for my Russian friend Arkady or Andre to come and pick me up. So at least 3 or 4 Thai people will say, "Oh, hockey."
That's awesome.
Hockey.
So you're kind of a star.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about a star, but it's just sort of interesting that more Thai people know about hockey than you think, number one. And it sort of sets off a signal that says to me, maybe in part because of this league and because of the people that are involved with it and the ones that are starting it, that hockey can grow in Thailand. And yes, it's not soccer where all you need is
Yeah.
a ball and a field.
They don't call it soccer here.
Oh, what is
They
it?
call it football.
Yeah, football. So it may be off limits to maybe a large percentage of the population here, but I just have this feeling that there's a lot opportunity to really grow hockey here in Thailand
I think
because
so.
this league is going to have a lot to do with that,
Mm.
and that's kind of exciting, just to see a kid who's never played hockey before have a stick in his hand and smack that ball, even it's on the cement in the parking lot or whatever you have going is it's really cool, and I think that hockey can definitely grow, and the goal of having a professional team here in Thailand, like it's not unrealistic, and because
I'd like to see more than a professional team. I'm sure if they keep progressing the way they've started, I can see it like a Thailand professional league. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I hate to break it off this topic, but I mean,
I know you talk about
hockey.
hockey.
I'm a huge hockey fan.
Forever.
You designed one of the logos you had said earlier.
I did, yeah.
For the SHL. Which one was that?
The Sukhumvit Spitfires.
Okay.
And that team is sponsored by Jason Bitter,
Okay.
who's a great guy, and it was really fun working with him throughout the development process of the logo, and it ended up coming out real nice. I made some alternatives after we settled on the final logo. The final logo is I think it's simple, it's clean, and it's good.
It looks really sharp and it really pops.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
The other logos look great,
Mm-hmm.
but the Spitfire logo, in my opinion, just kind of has a bit more of a pop to it. It's like pops from the jersey. It's like it's really eye catching. Not saying there's anything wrong with the other jerseys.
Right.
So-
Well, those. Maybe I had a bit of an advantage because I was starting from scratch.
Yeah.
All I had was the inspiration from Jason about the warplane, the Spitfire,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted it to somehow tie it into the hockey team, and then that was it. I was like free to go. And
Okay.
whereas the Aware and Titanium, Sport Corner, and Hooters, they're all very well established logos, so you can't really mess with them because they have a reputation behind them, and
Right.
and so I think I had more of an advantage to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more freewheeling,
Okay.
and that's one of the reasons I think it came out good, is because Jason was he was really good during the process. He specified what colors he wanted to see, and he made it really easy for me, and so I felt kind of supported in it, instead of I didn't get this this tension, like, oh, I don't like this direction,
Okay.
only going to start over, and it was nothing like that.
That's good.
And maybe it was because I kind of hit it, and he said, okay, we're on to something here, but I'd like to see this, and I'd like to see this, and
Okay.
so that's how you want a development process to go. You're
absolutely.
kind of working with the client rather than against them, and trying to convince them that oh no, this is what because you have that certain eye for what's going to work, and the client, they may not necessarily have it, although I think Jason does have it, and that helped too.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was a fun process, and it was kind of exciting. Last night, was the first game ever for the new league, and all the jerseys.
Oh, they all looked good. I mean.
Yeah, but just to see to come into the rink, I was one of the first ones there.
Okay.
Because I took the 4:00 bus in the afternoon to make sure that I get there on time. I could have taken the 5 and would have got me there about 8, but I was like, no, I'll take the 4. It'll get me there at 7,
Yeah.
just in case anything happens. So that turned out to be a good move, because when I showed up, there was the shopping carts with the brand new jerseys in there, still
that
all
would've been great.
bundled up, and they're each individually wrapped plastic with the socks together, and then I saw this.
That's great. You guys got I noticed that you had jerseys and the socks, which some of the leagues that I've played for,
Yeah.
you get the jerseys and that's
it. Yeah.
So,
Not this league. I mean, everybody looks great out there.
yeah,
It really looks
absolutely.
sharp.
And everybody matches, so that's
Everybody
pretty cool.
matches. Yeah, and so not only I was fortunate to get there early because I could pick my number and the jersey size, and but it was really cool to walk in and see this the stack of the Spitfires jerseys, all fresh and new, ready to go. Because when you've worked on it for a long time, to get it right, and then you see, oh my God, it's in a different form now. Like it's real. It's on
real now. It's not just a digital image.
Yeah, it's not just digital. It's on the jerseys. And so I took it out, took a real close look in the work that Adrian does at Jog Sports, which is the ones who did the jerseys for the league. They did a phenomenal job. Like some of the, you wonder what's going to actually translate from what you do digitally onto the printed material.
Yeah.
And because of a process called sublimation, which is interesting because when I first began development of the logo, I wasn't aware of the sublimation process that they were going to use, which sublimation actually allows you to insert or otherwise incorporate shadows and highlights and gradients and things that make logos look good online. You can use those for printing on textiles, which I wasn't aware that we could do.
Yeah.
So I originally just started out with this very 2D looking image with very flat colors and very basic, and so it wasn't until it was almost time to submit the final draft that I had a conversation with Adrian, and he mentioned that we're using sublimation, and I was like, really? Really? So I went back in and I added all the gradients and the shadows and the stuff that gives it the depth, and it's really, I had never worked with that process before, so to see it translate onto the jersey is pretty close to the actual digital image. It's not perfect. I don't think it can be.
Yeah. But it looks sharp, that's for sure.
Look good, thank you. Yeah.
So not only are you a hockey player and a graphic designer, you're a bit of an entrepreneur, aren't you? Yeah. I do have a lot of ideas spinning in my head. You brought
constantly.
One of those today, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I did. I've developed 2 products and brought both of them to market. And the first one I did was way back in like 2001. And
you say way back? It was only like 15 years ago. I'm 46. That's like nothing.
Well, I don't know. 15 years, I guess. Does that count as way back?
For some people, I'm sure it does, but for me, it doesn't.
Yeah, I guess maybe maybe 20, 25 would be way...
Yeah, I mean, I talk to people and like, yeah, that movie's old. It's not old. It was in 2005. That's old.
Well, the way that things are accelerating so fast with technology and everything, it seems like way back. Because I'll just throw this little tidbit in that I read in TechCrunch magazine, or one of the tech magazines, about like the recent history of technology. And in 2006, do you know what the number one technological advancement was for 2006? And this was like as voted by the entire tech community. And you want to take a guess?
Probably 2006. You said
2006.
I'd probably
10 years
say
ago.
10 years ago. Probably the advance of DSL to ADSL.
No.
No. Okay. I took a guess. Obviously, I'm wrong.
Oh, that might have been 2010. I don't know. But 2006, the number one technological advancement was the application of a DVD being incorporated into the television itself, so that you could put the CD right into the television instead of having a separate player.
Yes. I
Like,
remember that.
I mean, doesn't that seem like archaic?
Now DVDs seem archaic to
But
me.
that's only
yes,
10 years
but
ago.
Yeah, I know.
So when you
it's
say way
scary.
back, you know, like 2001 seems kind of way back. But anyway, back to the entrepreneurial stuff. I've developed 2 products. The first one I brought with me, and go figure, it's hockey related.
Of course.
Yeah, and I did reach international distribution. I selling in Canada, selling in the States, and even overseas in Sweden, and not huge, but I did have some customers, and it was when the internet was still kind of blooming. You know, it was only about 5 years old, but I was a total one-man show, and I developed the product. And I put it on the internet and sold it on the internet, and advertised in USA Hockey Magazine, which was a good move because they have like a 500,000 member subscription that gets the magazine every month.
USA Hockey or Let's Play Hockey?
USA Hockey.
Okay, you should also look at Let's Play Hockey because they have a big subscription too, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I will. And I'm saying I will because I'm considering relaunching the product, but I guess it would probably be good if I showed it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see it.
Okay. The name of the product was called Control Flex.
Uh-huh.
And I've renamed it. I want to relaunch it as X Factor because what it is it looks like a simple strap, and but what it is beyond a simple strap is it's designed to wrap around your skate in a figure 8 pattern.
Okay.
Which provides an additional element of heel lock, which is really important for skating to keep your ankle down and back.
Mm-hmm.
For proper skating mechanics primarily, because if your foot is flopping around and starts sweating, and you know you're having to retie your skates, and you just can't get the energy transfer. So what this does is basically fills in negative space.
Okay.
And negative space is what causes that wiggle and
Right.
the loss of ability to transfer energy from foot to skate.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of skating. In fact, Wayne Gretzky and Paul Coffey and those guys back in the Edmonton Oilers glory days, like those guys, and there's articles all over the internet to confirm this, is they wore skates 2, sometimes 3 sizes too small.
Ooh, I could never do that.
They did that for years just to get that negative space filled in because
Mm-hmm.
it was so important to them to be able to have that instant perfect energy transfer. So that's what Control Flex was. I designed it to do,
Okay.
was to fill in that negative space. And quite candidly, if you have fat feet and your feet are filling out the skates, so
I got fat feet.
you got fat feet.
I got Flintstone feet. Absolutely.
If you got Fred Flintstone feet, there would be some benefit, but there's not going to be as much as if you just have like an ordinary average foot where it's because your feet are naturally filling out the skate.
Mm-hmm.
But for a lot of players, this really does the trick. And when I first launched it, I was just sort of kind of took like a leap of faith assumption that people are going to like this because I actually learned to sew to make this prototype,
Okay.
which I never thought I would do, to learn to sew, but I did. And I thought, because for a long time I was wrapping tape around my ankle to get it tight, and what I found out is that it's tight, but I'm like the Tin Man, I can't get that forward flex that I want when I'm arcing hard, and I'm sort of like the Tin Man with the ankle tape. So I'm like, something's wrong here.
Mm-hmm. I
I know that I can get the skate tight the way I want it, and I know the laces aren't cutting it because they're loosening up during the game, and I'm tired of having to retie all the time. And there's got to be something here. There's got to be a solution. So I thought, okay, what is it that's like something natural, that not something that is that's kind of going off on a tangent as far as natural, but I wanted something that felt natural to the hockey player, because hockey's a very traditional sport, you know,
Yes.
and if you change anything with gear
They
and
get
stuff,
upset.
whoa, people are going to get upset, you know. So I thought, well, okay, I need to have something here that still feels natural. It can't be like hard plastic. It can't be like I thought about like a buckles, you know,
Yeah,
like
no.
a ski boot thing where it click, 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 click. Like that stuff would work, but hockey players aren't going to go for it, you know.
No.
The natural feel of the laces, that's why they still have them on skates, even to this day, with all the other technology that's in hockey skates with carbon fiber.
I've used buckled boots. I don't like them. I
Right.
don't like how they feel.
Yeah, they don't cut it. So
they
that's
feel
why.
very, very stiff.
Yeah, so that's why I invented this the way I did. It's a natural textile, not that much different than the lace material itself.
Okay.
So when you torque this thing down, it just kind of feels like, oh my God, you have to experience it. You will instantly feel the difference, and it's like, oh my God, this skate is locked to my foot, but I can actually flex forward even more, because if you look at where the X point is,
Yeah, it's down near the.
it's down near around the
joint.
third
Yeah.
eyelet, which is where your foot actually flexes.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I use this, I tighten down to about here, pretty
Okay.
as I normally would, pretty nice and tight. But then on the top three, I just do it kind of loose,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't want it really tight up there,
No.
and now you don't need it, because you're fully locked and loaded, like down and back
Mm-hmm.
with this system, and you don't need to have these tight, and you don't want them tight, because the tightest point is right here, right where you're
At the flex point.
at the flex point.
Mhm.
And so you know, at first glance, it's just an ordinary strap, but it has this. I integrated this. I don't know if the camera's going to show it.
I'll be able to zoom in.
Okay, it has this.
Stretch like elastic.
Yeah, this stretch material integrated into the strap, which allows you to adjust the tension, right? Because if you didn't have that, you'd have to torque it down, and it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
It's either
It's either going to be too tight or not tight enough.
yeah, and you'd have to be, you know, maybe 1 in 100 people who would use it would be lucky
Mhm.
that, oh yeah, I torqued this down, it's perfect. Like that, I knew that wasn't going to happen.
Mhm.
So I wanted to add some element of flexibility to it. Otherwise, I knew it would be a flop. So I'm putting it on the way that you normally do. And at first, it's even me, the one who invented it. You know, I had to remember how do you put this thing on, because there's a lot of ways you could put. If you put it on upside down, like that,
Uh-huh.
then you don't have the Velcro sticking out, so it can touch the other side. So
Right.
like, oh, got to do it over again. So basically, you just here's the strap.
So
and you
label up.
Label up, yeah, and you stick it through, and then you bring it around like that. And then the buckle's sticking out, waiting for male end. And it comes through. Then you can kind of jostle it a little bit so it's right where you want it.
Okay.
And then that's where the stretch part comes in, right there. It's because now you can torque it just where it feels right, and you got a
Okay.
fair amount of. You've got
Yeah,
about an inch to
looks
play
like
with,
you got quite
which is a
there,
lot,
Yeah.
you know. And so once you get it, you hold it, just hold it where you want it, and then you're good to go.
Okay.
And so nowadays in the NHL, just recently, past couple of years, if you happen to be watching a game on TV and you look at, and then maybe they're close in on the face-off circle at the pros in the NHL, you'll see something that actually looks like this, but it's not. It's actually the plastic protector,
Mm-hmm. The foot protectors.
the
yeah.
foot protectors, but they have the same type of structure to them, except that they have some plastic
Okay.
added into it. So those straps, and I can't confirm this, but what I suspect is that the strap that is just there to hold the protector in place. It's not designed to add any support to the skate.
Okay.
Maybe it's because they don't need it, because they have their skates custom made,
Yeah.
and so that negative space that's so important to eliminate is taken care of by the fact that the skates are custom made. But for the other 99% of hockey players who don't
Right.
have that and are looking to add some stability to their skating, X Factor, it really does work.
It looks like it would really cinch down the skate on your
Yeah.
foot. I mean, I remember when I was playing halfway through the second period, I'd have to retie my skates.
Yeah, and it sucked.
So,
Because you're sweating, and you got your visor on, or maybe, and
I never wore a visor. I always had a cage. So.
That's probably a smart move. But anyway, yeah. At the time when I launched it, like I said, I learned to sew so that I could do it myself and get it right, and I did all the blueprinting for it. And I had a friend of mine who was a product sourcing manager for Easton Sporting Goods for a long time, and so he headed the manufacturing
company that bought Christian Brothers.
Yeah. He handled all the manufacturing in China, and it was perfect. And I even had a professional NHL hockey player endorsing it. His name was Nicholas Sundstrom.
Okay.
He was from the same town as Peter Forsberg, and played around the same time. And he also played for the Swedish Olympic team, and he was on the San Jose Sharks. He played for the Rangers. He was on a line with Wayne Gretzky, so he was the real deal. And I got an endorsement from him, and so I was thinking, okay, this is going to take the hockey world by storm. But what I found out is that, as I mentioned earlier, hockey is a very traditional sport, and at that time, to see something like this on a skate was like taboo.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was like, oh, what is that?
When I was playing, I'd have been like, "What's that? I ain't putting that on my foot."
Right, I'm not putting it on my foot. I'm no baby.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need any more support. I'm perfect the way I am.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that if you are a good skater, this can make you a very good skater.
Okay.
If you are a beginner, it can take you out of beginner and into intermediate. I'm not saying that not having proper skating mechanics as part of your repertoire as a hockey player is okay. This isn't going to make you a great skater, but it will definitely make you a better skater. And it's just like this mental thing too. Like when I put this on, I feel more confident when I jump out on the ice. Like my foot is locked and loaded, and it was a big improvement from just having, you come out on the ice and your laces are tight and you're ready to go. But for me, just very quickly, the forward motion and the foot starting to sweat, things get sloppy, and having to retie, and and the cool thing is during the game, you might even just be like, oh, you know what, I just want a little more torque. It's like on demand. You just take it and just torque a little bit tighter, and just get that back that
Excellent.
way it started at the game. And so, in fact, I was pitching Bauer in CCM. I was like, you guys, you could very easily integrate this into the skate at the time of manufacture, and add a whole new element of structure and support to the skates that you're building. And they were like, no. No, our skates are fine, because of what we built into the sidewall. We've got this new graphite panel that's going to keep everything super stiff and structured, and no, we don't need anything like that, But the fact is that I just think no matter what you do to a skate, no matter what materials,
they break in.
They're going to break in, yeah. And they may stay stiff, but they still, to me, having that flex point, having the strongest part of this product right at the flex point is something that a skate alone can't do, unless some players, like I remember Chris Pronger, I always remember him with the tongue is just flopping over the top of the skate,
Yeah.
because that's what he would tie his skates. He
Right
would
to
leave
there,
the
yeah.
top 3, and he had the ability to not need the structure and support, and so for of course it's not going to be for everybody, and there's still going to be a lot of players who be like, I'm good enough, man. That thing is like some baby. I don't need some baby strap, But I was one of them. Even when I was making it, I'm like, this thing is awesome, but can I let anybody see it?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to wear
Yeah.
my socks inside my skate. I actually wore it outside so that people wouldn't see it at first,
Okay.
And then I thought, okay, in the next batch, I'm going to take away the logo. And in fact, if I relaunch it, which I want to do, because being in Thailand here, there's even my friend that I mentioned before that I met in Korea,
Mm-hmm.
that lives is a native Thai guy, but he was in America for 25 years. He has a niece in Bangkok who owns a entire sewing and manufacturing center, which we
Okay.
could make these in a snap, really cheap. So I'd love to be able to let all the guys in the league try it, just for free. But I only have one pair with me.
So maybe you need to make up a few demos.
Maybe I need to make up a few demos, yeah, and get a few made. But yeah, so it was called Control Flex, but if I relaunch it, it's going to be X Factor.
Okay.
And
Excellent.
yeah, so that's one of the products I did, and then my mind is always spinning with ideas. I'm always looking to. I look at something and I'm thinking. I know, for some people, just say who constantly look at something and say, how could that be better? I used to do that with everything,
Mm-hmm.
but then I started realizing, like, I look at something and I say, you know what, it's good enough.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone, And some things you look at and say it could be better, and that's where some of my ideas come from, like
Okay.
improving on something that's already there. But like with the X Factor, the hockey strap, I don't know if you would want to call that. I think it's an original idea because it's not.
It looks like it. I don't remember ever seeing anything like
There's
that.
nothing. There's never anything like it, and
So.
and I got the inspiration from strapping tape around the ankle, but so that's part of my entrepreneurial element of who I am. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for being on the show. I have this thing that I do at the end of every podcast, which is called an Always Remember. Basically, you kind of something nice to take away for people, something positive, a little bit of a message. And what I like to do with my guests is I like them to do the Always Remember. So if you could do that for me, that would be awesome.
Okay. I'd say always remember that not to compare yourself to others, because if you do, you just find yourself in a pot of hot water every single time. Just go and do what is right for you. It's not always going to be right for the other person, which can put you in a place where conflict can arise, and people don't naturally like conflict, but it's something that you have to do. And the more you do it, the more confident you become, and the more respect that you will get and deserve as a person who's doing what they believe in.
Excellent.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I'm going to probably have you on the show again, talk more about your entrepreneurial stuff.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. I've got Patrick here from The Aware. What is your plan to beat the Titanium Sports Club tonight?
Well, I think we are the more talented team, so I think it will go up by itself, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's your position on the team?
I'm a teamer, defenseman, yeah.
Defenseman.
Yeah.
It's my position. I used to play D. So, all right, well, I'll talk to you guys after the game.
All right, thanks.
Good luck.
Thanks.
I have Zak from the Titanium Sports Club here. You're playing The Aware tonight. What are your plans on beating the team tonight?
It's our first game, so we're just going to play our positions, back check, work hard, and just have some fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your position on the team?
I'm center and kind of a lazy forward, hang around the red line and wait for my D to move it up to me.
I've played with a few guys like that. All right, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
We have the player of the game, Gabor, from the Titanium Sports Corner. Congratulations. How do you think you guys did tonight?
Oh, well, we played against a very strong team. The opposite was very strong. I was good. And however, we got the first goal. But anyway, we won by shootout at 3-2. So.
All right, congratulations. Did a great job tonight.
Thank
All
you
right, I
very
have
much.
Justin from Hooters here tonight. What's your plan on beating the Spitfires?
Well, we've got two things. They got some big, strong guys, so we're gonna have to beat them with our speed, and we have to let them take the penalties. So they've got some angry guys sometimes, so we got to stay cool, let them take the penalties, and I think that'll make us win.
Sounds like a good plan. What's your position?
I usually play right wing, but today I'm actually going to be a rover, so I'll be playing every forward position. So we've got lines of 4. So
Okay.
we'll have a set left wing, set center, set right wing, and I'll just kind of rotate through.
Excellent. All right, well, good luck tonight.
All right, thank you.
All right, I've got Brad here from the Spitfires. What's your plan on beating the Hooters tonight?
Well, if scoring's not coming in too easy for us tonight, then we just got to take the body and get physical and scare these guys. We got a big, brutal team, and I think we're going to throw some bodies out there.
Sounds like a good plan. What's your position?
I play defense.
That's my position. I used to be D-man.
Nice.
All right, good luck tonight. All right, we
Thank
have
you.
Adrian with the Spitfires, the player of the game. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
So what do you think contributed to you guys' win today?
I would have to say Jason Kotzmeyer stood on his head. It wasn't looking very good in the first period, but then he definitely came back in the second, and we tried to help him out as much as we could.
Awesome. All right, what are you looking for the next game?
A win.
A win. How so?
Hopefully Kotz is going to come out and play again, and hopefully guys like this want to come out and play again as well. And I think we got a pretty good core as long as we stick to our tight D and put some goals in the net.
Excellent. All right, thanks a lot. Congratulations.
You're welcome, dude. See you next
Please
week.
rate my show or leave a comment or make suggestions of what you would like me to talk about. You can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Dom Dumas, on Twitter @Dom Dumas, and on Instagram, Dom_Dumas. Thanks a lot.